What's up, YouTube? I am Bernard Boo, this is WrestleBoo, and this is my very first video, my WrestleMania 34 preview. Let's go. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for joining me for my very first video. WrestleMania 34 is this weekend, and I'm super excited to run down the card with you guys and share my thoughts on each match, as well as my predictions. Guys, this has got to be, from top to bottom, one of the most stacked WrestleMania cards in recent memory, at least on paper. There's something in there for everybody, from long-term storylines paying off to short-term storylines. There's super personal angles and matches that just sell themselves. We've got marquee matches and even a Wrestle Kingdom match in there. There's stuff for the mainstream fan and the hardcore internet fan. So I think everybody, has something to be excited about for this Sunday's card. I'm excited about almost all of it. Now, before we jump into things, I have no idea how they're gonna order the matches on this card. There are so many matches that could potentially open or close this thing, and I don't know if I really want to predict the exact order of the card. So instead, I'm just gonna go from the most high-profile matches and work my way down, at least the matches I perceive to be the most high-profile, and we'll do it that way. Okay, so first up, we've got Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Now, I'm looking forward to this one quite a bit because, well, mostly because I was at their last WrestleMania match. WrestleMania 31, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar beat the tar out of each other. It was such a tremendous match. The violence, the physicality were just through the roof on that one. It felt different than every other match on that card because it was so intense. It had the vibe of like an MMA match or a big-time boxing match. So I have no reason to believe that this year's match won't be better, even better than that match, because one, Roman Reigns is like exponentially better than he was 3 years ago. I mean, he's just so good. He only has pretty much good matches now. And Brock, I think, Brock likes wrestling Roman. That's just me speculating, but I think he likes the physicality. Brock's a competitive guy. Roman's a competitive guy. They both bring it. So I think Brock will be motivated for this one. I know, the rumor mill likes to talk about how Brock Lesnar sometimes doesn't get up for whatever opponent is across the ring from him. But I don't think we're going to run into that problem here. I really think he enjoys wrestling Roman Reigns, and this is going to be one of the biggest matches on the card, and maybe one of the best matches on the card, to be honest. This is going to be a hard-hitting, slobber-knocker match, Attitude Era style. They're going to brawl. They're going to throw in some real punches and knees and kicks in there. It's going to be great. It's going to be brutal. My prediction is that Roman Reigns comes out on top. Brock Lesnar has done a great job over the past year carrying that Universal title. He's made that title feel important. He's made that title feel prestigious. But now it's Roman's time. Brock did a great job, but Roman, he's the most over guy to me in the whole company, maybe including John Cena, but no one gets reactions like Roman Reigns. Yeah, Roman deserves the win here. I think he should win. I think he will win. I can't wait to see what they do with Roman in that Universal title. Okay, next up, we've got another big-time match. This time, a match that officially might not be happening. It's John Cena versus The Undertaker. They can't actually officially advertise this match because of the way they're telling this story. John Cena, over the past 5 weeks, has been cutting these provocative promos, insulting The Undertaker, kind of poking the bear, as it were. And it's just been 100% John carrying this thing and building this match. We literally haven't seen anything from The Undertaker. Nothing, no smoke effects, not a lightning bolt, the lights haven't gone out, nothing, and I think that's super cool. The reason I think that's really cool is that, over the past few years, we've kind of seen The Undertaker feel more human or look more human than he has in the past, at least in his WrestleMania matches. His absence has actually imbued that character with that mystique that he's been missing for a while. Undertaker feels like a mythic creature again, a mythic figure again. He feels like kind of an urban legend again. I like that we haven't seen him at all, and I like that they can't promote this match at least in their traditional sense. You know, they can't put out a poster saying John Cena versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 34. That's freaking cool. You know, I don't know if they've ever done that before. I can't remember them doing a storyline like this. I love the asymmetry of it. You know, it's all been John, but he's done a good job of keeping The Undertaker in our heads. But also, you know, a lot of the work has been done for them. I mean, this match has kind of been an elephant in the room for the past few years as far as the WWE universe and the fan base. The fact that they haven't locked horns on the grandest stage of them all is just kind of, you know, absurd at this point. And because we haven't seen Undertaker at all up to this point, I think when he finally does come out on Sunday, when John inevitably comes out to cut a promo and Undertaker inevitably comes out to meet him in the center of that ring, it's going to feel special. It's going to feel like Christmas morning because there's that suspense, at least, you know, in the narrative sense, the suspense of whether or not this match is going to happen. We don't officially know. So when Undertaker comes out, it's going to feel like a bonus of sorts. It's going to feel like, you know, an extra match, an extra treat. And I think, yeah, these are two masters of the craft. They're going to put on a clinic in there. I have no doubt that that's going to happen, and I'm going to get choked up and emotional because this could be Undertaker's last match. I mean, you never know with that guy, but I think this might be really his last one because what better opponent to go out against than John Cena. So I predict that Undertaker is going to come out on top with the win. He's going to get his mojo back. He's going to retire, and he's going to retire on a high note. And I'm sure John Cena will be happy to do the honors, and there'll be more than one, you know, tear shed in that building. Next up, we've got a match that has been advertised as a dream match, even though most of us are familiar with the fact that it's already happened like a few years ago. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. It's happening. I'm so excited. This is for the WWE Championship. I can't believe that. Yes, they've been advertising this as a dream match, even though it happened at New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom a few years ago. They can advertise this match however they want. I don't care. This is going to be phenomenal. Pun completely intended. If you've seen any of AJ Styles' work, or any of Shinsuke Nakamura's work, you know what these two are capable of. I mean, let's be real. These are two of the greatest in-ring competitors to ever live. Yeah, this is going to be athletic. It's going to be physical. It's going to look really cool. I mean, that's the thing that's special about these two guys, AJ and Shinsuke. Everything they do in there looks cool. I mean, these are just like two of the coolest looking wrestlers on the roster, and they're just going to tear the house down. Everyone wants to see this thing. Shinsuke, AJ, my prediction, this one's hard. I'll say that Shinsuke comes out on top with this one. He's got a lot of momentum. I think it would be cool to have a Japanese champion, an Asian champion, a WWE champion, no less. He deserves it. I think he's gotten himself over enough at this point to where people would love to see him as champion. I think AJ winning would be great too, you know, especially for fans like us who have been fans of his since the 90s. Watched him through TNA, watched him in like Ring of Honor and on the indie scene and in New Japan. To see him retain the WWE Championship at WrestleMania would be incredibly emotional, at least for me. It would be a nice moment, but I think Shinsuke's coming out with this one. Next up, we've got a tag match, and there are so many tag matches on this card, but they kind of sound awesome. Typically, you know, I'm not the most excited for tag matches on a pay-per-view, but pretty much every tag match on here looks pretty cool. The first one, and the one that I'm most intrigued in, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. There are so many angles and textures and facets and dimensions to this match. This is the match with kind of the best build-up on the whole card for me. I mean, it started months and months ago with Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. I mean, one of the climaxes of this storyline was the Hell in a Cell match that Kevin and Shane had a few months ago, and that's when they super smoothly incorporated Sami Zayn into the fold. They brought him in, had him interfere in that match, and turned him heel in the process, which did wonders for Sami's career. You know, him and Kevin have been working their ass off over the past year, or at least the past several months. It's been so entertaining, and I've been so impressed with Sami and Kevin. Daniel Bryan's been brought into this thing super organically as well. And that's not to mention the fact that Daniel Bryan is freaking wrestling at WrestleMania. That is one of the biggest storylines, headline-worthy storylines in the whole pay-per-view. I'm so happy for him. Bryan Danielson, the man. I'm happy for him. I'm sure you guys all are happy for him, and just to see him walk in there is going to be an emotional thing for me. So that on its own makes this match interesting, right? Just Daniel Bryan getting in there, but he's also been an organic part of this evolving storyline centered on Shane and Kevin. Besides the fact that the story has been told so well, these are four of the best in-ring performers ever. Kevin, Sami, and Daniel have, been tearing it up for years on the indie circuit together, and then in WWE as well. Whenever Shane is called upon to, really show up and contribute, he always does. He always overachieves. I think that Kevin and Sami have to come away with the win here. They need the win more than Daniel and Shane. Obviously, Shane doesn't need a win. He's not a full-time talent. And Daniel Bryan doesn't need a win because his whole moment is just the fact that he's wrestling on Sunday. So I think because Sami and Kevin have worked so hard and done such a good job over this past several months, a win here would really benefit them, and I think the WWE knows that, and that's the way they're going to go. Okay, next up we've got yet another big-time tag team match. This time it's Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle against Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Now, just like the last tag team match, there's a big headline-worthy story at the center of this one, and that's Ronda Rousey making her in-ring debut. Now, I've been a fan of Ronda Rousey's since, the early days of her MMA career. She's just an excellent competitor, an excellent athlete, and her legacy will live on forever, even though, she had a couple losses at the end of her run that she didn't take so well as far as the fans' perception, but whatever. It's going to be interesting to see how she performs in that ring. She's a judoka. She's, an Olympic-level judo player, and that's an advantage because judo throws look freaking cool. They fit into pro wrestling quite well. She is gonna toss and ragdoll Triple H across that ring like nobody's business. I know Triple H is going to make those judo throws look really good as well. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Ronda does. She hasn't been doing great on the mic on Raw over the past several weeks, but that's okay. I mean, she just started. Let's be honest. She's a megastar, so she's on the WrestleMania card, but you can't expect her to be, super good on the mic at this point. Who would be? Sunday will be the real proving ground. Let's see how she looks in the ring. I know she's only been training for a few months, and I don't know, how good could you really be after training that long? I don't know. I guess that's the suspense. That's the intrigue leading into Sunday's match. Kurt Angle is going to be wrestling at WrestleMania. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time. The Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. I'm so excited. I mean, we saw him return a few months ago, teaming with the Shield when Roman was sick, but that wasn't a proper return. He was wearing Shield attire. He didn't get his entrance. We're going to see Kurt Angle do the entrance with the red, white, and blue and the pyro and the fingers in the air and people telling him he sucks. It's going to be epic. I'm going to probably be moved by that moment just because to see Kurt back in the WWE in the ring, that's super special to me. And then, you've got Triple H and Stephanie on the other side of the ring. They're always involved in WrestleMania. They do, they've got their heel thing, their authority heel shtick, Stephanie and Triple H. And it's harder to buy them as hateable heels because we see Stephanie and Triple H in, a professional capacity so much. We see them out of character. Triple H as, the mastermind behind NXT and now 205 Live. And I think we all appreciate Triple H and what he's done for this business so much that it's kind of hard to really boo him. Stephanie still got some real heat there, right? Like because she's just a maestro in there as far as being a heel. Even though we also see her out of character, we can still hate her because she just knows how to play that crowd. She's a puppet master. This match has all the ingredients to be super entertaining. My prediction is that Ronda and Kurt have to win. It would not make sense for Ronda to lose in her in-ring debut. She's going to be, a part of that active roster moving forward. So it would completely kill her momentum to have her lose to Stephanie McMahon, essentially. So I think it would make all of the sense in the world to have Ronda win in dominant fashion and set her up as a megastar on that Raw roster going forward. All right, coming up next, we've got one of my most anticipated matches on the card. It's the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. It's The Miz, the champion, versus Seth freaking Rollins and Finn Balor. I think this might be kind of a dark horse, a sleeper on the card, if you will. What I've been most impressed by in this match is how emotionally invested I am in the build-up. Miz always does a great job on the mic, and he's been killing it with his Miz TV segments over the past few weeks, kind of trying to provoke Seth and Finn to kill each other so he can just sit back and relax and win his championship when the opportunity arises. And Seth and Finn Balor are just so gifted in that ring. They can do pretty much anything in there, and their styles are similar, but they're not too similar. But adding the Miz in there is actually maybe the extra dynamic that they really need to take this match over the top. My prediction for this match, this is another hard one. They've been pushing the fact that Miz will be like setting some record for most consecutive days as Intercontinental Champion in like a few weeks or something. They've mentioned that several times on TV, so maybe they'll keep the title on Miz and have him, achieve that goal, because I think he deserves it. He's had one of the best years of his career, and for him to retain here would be awesome. No pun intended that time. Now let's talk about the women's championship matches. First up, we've got Asuka versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. This is maybe the match on the card that sells itself the most, right? Like has been no real build up to this other than you could say Asuka winning the Rumble was part of the build up, but really there's no true personal rivalry here. It's just the Empress of Tomorrow versus the Queen. Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. You don't need to say anything more than that. Charlotte is obviously one of the best pro wrestlers in the world, male or female. We all acknowledge that. We love her. She's done such a good job. And then we've got Asuka, who has more momentum than Asuka? She's undefeated since her NXT days. They pushed her to the moon. I don't think they've had a match before. I could imagine, being familiar with their respective styles, that they would actually have good chemistry in there. I think this is going to be one for the ages, actually. Okay, this is going to be a bold one. I think Asuka will win, and Carmella will come out and cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase, and Carmella will hand Asuka her very first loss. Now, on the Raw side of things, we've got Alexa Bliss defending her Raw Women's Championship against Nia Jax, and this is one of my favorite build-ups of the entire card. This is a really hard story to tell because Alexa Bliss, 5 Feet of Fury, is a tiny, tiny competitor. She's one of the smallest wrestlers on the entire roster, and she's going up against the biggest female wrestler on the roster, and that's tough because Nia's the babyface, and Alexa's supposed to be the heel here. That's a tricky story to tell. Alexa is emotionally bullying Nia, right? That's how you're getting us on Nia's side. Alexa's been making fun of Nia, saying that they were never real friends. She's just been using Nia. Nia Jax actually put on an incredible performance a few weeks ago. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Nia had just lost to Asuka in the ring, and Alexa was comforting her, but really rubbing it in to Nia's face that she failed. And Nia was just waterworks, and it looked like she was really sad and really offended and down on herself. And it was that moment where I was sold on this storyline. I sympathize with Nia Jax, even though she's like, 3 times the size of Alexa Bliss. So I think they've done a good job with the build-up here. Adding Mickie James to the mix, kind of as Alexa's flunky, is really clever too, because it gives Alexa an unfair advantage. My prediction is that Nia Jax is going to be the new Raw Women's Champion. She deserves it. It's going to be a heartfelt moment. I would not be surprised if Nia, shed some real tears in there. You can tell that she's passionate about wrestling, and she's been doing a good job over the past several weeks. She's improved more than maybe anyone on that roster in such a short time. Now, next up on the blue brand, on the SmackDown side of things, we've got a fatal 4-way match for the United States Championship. We've got the champion, Randy Orton, versus Jinder Mahal, versus Bobby Roode, versus Rusev. Okay, I'm excited for this match, but this is probably my least anticipated match of the night. It has nothing to do with the competitors, but it has everything to do with like how the Daniel Bryan, Kevin, Sami, and Shane match felt really organic in the build-up. This is the opposite of that. This does not feel organic. This feels super slapped together. Now, that being said, the 4 competitors, the 4 performers in this match are super talented. They're all over with the fans. And I'm sure they'll do a good job. I think they will actually have a really good match in there. Bobby Roode, I'm so impressed with him because that character, that Bobby Roode character, should be a heel. Like, that is a natural heel character, and he played it to a T in NXT. But now, why I'm so impressed is that he's on SmackDown Live as a babyface, and he's getting over as a babyface. And then you've got Jinder Mahal. Man, what a year Jinder Mahal had. He is the truth. Jinder is the truth. He was champion. He was WWE champion for like 6 months or something. Man, he felt like a main eventer from the start of his run as a champion. He did such a great job. Rusev got thrown in this match a couple weeks ago, like last minute. And it makes sense because he's so over with the fans. This Rusev Day thing with Aiden English and the singing and Rusev hamming it up when he needs to, and the t-shirts, it's just great. I'm glad that Rusev got a spot on the card. But then you've got the champion, Randy Orton. I don't know about you guys, but I think Randy Orton as a character has been flat, super flat over, I don't know, the past how many years. He had an interesting run there with the Wyatts. I'll give him that. That was really good. But yeah, after the Wyatt thing, he just kind of reverted back to whatever, the Viper, badass Randy Orton. Tremendous in the ring. He's one of the best in-ring performers I've ever seen. But as far as his character work, it's just so one-dimensional. We just kind of know what that guy does. As far as my prediction goes, I think Jinder Mahal is going to come out of there with that title, that United States title. I think WWE just eats up that irony, that character would be United States champion. That's my pick. Jinder Mahal, new United States champion. Now let's talk about the tag team championships. On the blue brand, the Usos defending their SmackDown tag team championships against the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, what else can you say about the Usos? They've had the best year of their career. It's just been incredible over the past several months. They had that character change where they started being themselves. And yeah, they're believable now, No one was interested in them really when they had the face paint and the bright colors and the dancing. No one really cared about them, if we're being honest. But now, they come out and they command that room. They demand attention. These are scary guys. And the New Day have been the perfect foils for them, the perfect rivals. These 5 men have had some of the best matches of the year. They had match of the night, match of the night, match of the night. It was like 4 pay-per-views in a row where they just stole the show. So the New Day, I'm impressed with the New Day too, because they were growing stale. They had their act, and we're all familiar with their act, and it's entertaining, but it's not as entertaining as it was at first. But because the Usos kind of forced them to step up their in-ring game, it's like the New Day's got, a new lease on life. They feel fresh again. They've got the hot cakes and they're making fans laugh and they're entertaining, but they are also, we take them seriously. Now, the X Factor here, of course, is the Bludgeon Brothers. Divisive gimmick, I think. A divisive gimmick, the Bludgeon Brothers. Harper and Rowan do a good job when they beat people up. That's the whole key to that gimmick, is they have to make it look gross, like grotesque when they beat people up and they have those squash matches. And they've been doing a good job of that. When they beat up the New Day and the Usos at that last pay-per-view, it looked nasty, man. Like, it looked good. I like the way they beat people up. So my prediction for this match is the Usos. I think the Usos are coming away with this, even though I kind of want to lean towards the Bludgeon Brothers. I think Usos are going to be rewarded for their hard work. Now on Raw, we've got a very interesting tag team match. I think this is the 4th tag team match that I'm talking about now. We've got The Bar, the champions, Cesaro and Sheamus, defending the Raw Tag Team Championships against Braun Strowman and a mystery partner. Now, just like the other tag team matches, there are multiple points of intrigue here. You've got The Bar, who is low-key, like The Bar, the tag team, is one of the best storylines that the company has put out in a long time. I mean, this is like a 2 years old storyline, right? Like, they had that Best of 7 series that Mick Foley put on, and they hated each other, and then they were forced into a tag team. Now, it feels like they were meant to be together. They're like brothers, you know? They have all their little, you know, hand gestures and stuff, and they have matching outfits, and they work well in the ring together. I'm just super happy for them. And they're going to have a good match with Braun. I mean, Cesaro is so good, and so is Braun. And on top of that, Braun's got a partner. It's like the Undertaker thing, you know? We have no clue who this partner could be. My pick would be James Ellsworth. I think that would be hilarious if we saw the chinless James Ellsworth come out there with Braun Strowman and kind of have that whole story that started with that squash match that got James his job with WWE. See that come full circle on Sunday with them teaming together and maybe even winning the tag team championships together. I think that would be so entertaining and super funny. Woo! So we're almost at the end here, guys. We've just got the 2 battle royals to talk about. First up, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now I'm looking at the participants here. We've got like Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Woken Matt Hardy, Goldust, Fashion Police, you know, guys like that who don't have a lot to do as far as storylines go. But is Elias in the Battle Royal? But maybe Elias will just, you know, get an awesome promo segment with like Austin or The Rock or HBK or something like that, and like get beat up by a legend or whatever. But anyways, getting back to the Battle Royal, not really much to talk about here. Maybe I'll go with Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, he's been there forever, and he works hard. So yeah, give him the Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy. Now to finish things up, we've got the Women's Battle Royal. At the center of this thing is the Bayley and Sasha Banks storyline that they've really kind of made a focal point of Monday Night Raw over the past several months, and yet I think we all would have loved to see Sasha and Bayley have a singles match at WrestleMania, but there's only so much time, and they're like really big matches on this thing, so I understand that they're in this Battle Royal. If anything, it'll make the match that much more interesting. My prediction for this match is that it's got to be... Oh no, I was gonna say it's got to be either Bayley or Sasha, but maybe they'll kind of cancel each other out and screw each other out of the win. So yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll predict that Natty Neidhart wins the Women's Battle Royal at this year's WrestleMania. That is going to wrap it up for this video. It was a big one, and that's because it's a big event on Sunday, WrestleMania 34 from New Orleans. I had so much fun talking about the card with you guys. If you like this video, like and subscribe. You know the deal. This YouTube channel is in its infancy. Every like and subscribe really helps out. So yeah, like and subscribe to WrestleBoo, and come back next week for my reactions to WrestleMania 34. And I'm going to be putting out content on a regular basis from now on. So I really hope you'll hang out with me. That's the whole reason I made this channel, was to find other like-minded wrestling fans and chat with you guys, interact with y'all, and it's just so much fun for me. Thanks again for joining me, guys. I am Bernard Boo. This is WrestleBoo, and I'll see you soon.